Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of The New World. In today's video, we discuss one of the lottery picks out of this year's draft who had all eyes on him as his pre-draft decision made by him and his team were deemed very questionable, which put a negative light around the young 6'8 wing coming out of Rutgers, and that is the Utah Jazz future wing, Ace Bailey. Now, if you are a fan of basketball, you have probably heard all of the roller coaster decisions and comments made during Bailey's pre-draft. Leading up to the NBA draft, Bailey made it known he felt he was a top 3 player in the draft, which can be up to no surprise as this year's has had many different opinions. Bailey felt his player comp was that of 2 future Hall of Fame wings in Kevin Durant and Paul George, which is typical for a guy of his stature. But what shocked some fans was Bailey's absence as he canceled multiple team meetings and workouts with several teams, as well as leaving the wrong impression to some during his combine interviews. He then had a scheduled workout with the team holding the 3rd overall pick in the draft, the Philadelphia 76ers, but canceled it before, as per reports, he wanted a promise made by the Sixers before meeting, but they ended up not upholding that promise. Now, 2 things were shocking about this move, as one, Bailey's team reportedly wanted him to play for an East Coast team, and the second was Bailey's agent, Omar Cooper, father of the Atlanta Hawks former draft pick, Sharif Cooper, who has had a somewhat bad reputation throughout the NBA, which led some to believe he was receiving bad advice. Bailey was asked about the situation, in which he stated several times, "I'm just focused on basketball. I can control what I can control." Bailey would then get drafted by the Utah Jazz with the 5th overall pick, but his decision making didn't stop there, as fans believe he would hold out playing for the Jazz after reports came out that he didn't want to be drafted there and had minimal contact with the team after being drafted, basically pulling a Steve Francis as he did so with the Vancouver Grizzlies, per Brian Windhorst. But after a shaky first game in the Summer League, Bailey bounced back versus the Grizzlies, showing his ability to score from each level. So in today's video, we will discuss the build-up leading to Bailey getting drafted, as well as his potential in the NBA. But before we do that, make sure to hit that subscribe button and help us on the road to 10K subs. Hit that like button if you enjoy the content, and make sure to share the video as well. And comment if you think Bailey will be a star in the making, become a bust, or you just need more tape before making a decision. And if you haven't, check out our recent videos where we discuss the future of LeBron James after his agent's comments on his future as a Laker, the trajectory of the Milwaukee Bucks after cutting future Hall of Famer Damian Lillard in order to make room for their somewhat newly constructed roster that is now in question, as well as our video discussing our hometown team, the Memphis Grizzlies, as their offseason moves put the stars of the franchise on trade watch. Now fellas, what were your thoughts on everything that transpired leading up to Bailey getting drafted, and what are your thoughts on his game thus far, and who does he put you in the mindset of?
Okay, I think that my boy Jay, great intro. I think that he had brought up a few things. One of his last remarks were, what do we think is going to be the career trajectory for Ace Bailey? Do we think he's going to be a bust, which is crazy? Do we think he's going to be a bust? Do we think he's going to be a star? Do we need to see more tape? I think we all need to see more tape on all of these guys. One thing that fans, sport fans do, we become prisoners of the moment. So let's just actually analyze what we've seen. Fellas, one thing that I was looking up as I was doing some more research on Ace Bailey was the fact that this just kind of made my stomach turn a little bit. Ace Bailey was born in 2006. Ladies and gentlemen, he's only 18. He's younger than everybody that is on this video right now.
Man, he's younger than me. That's crazy, bro.
He's younger than everybody on this video right now. So let's break down 2 things, because we're gonna get into this basketball shit. But let's just talk about the pre-draft stuff, because I was telling my boys that I think at this point it's much ado about nothing. Do I think that Ace Bailey is a mature person? Of course not. He's 18 years old. Like, this guy's really fresh out of high school, basically. Fresh out of high school, was born in 2006. So he can't legally drink. He can't do nothing. Honestly. Can't even go to the club, for real. So now look at somebody like that. Let's look at who was around him, his agents. Like, I think that we need to hold those people more culpable than anything, because they really gave him some bad advice on how to be a professional. And I think that that's what the Utah Jazz and Danny Ainge is going to do is they're going to mold him a little bit and take the reins from that car from those guys because I just think those guys didn't really do a good job of giving him the right advice that he needed as a professional. Because I understand, not wanting to play for specific teams. I feel you on that. But you are a professional, sir, at the end of the day. And I think that his team, I think what Ace Bailey did was he was like, I'm just going to focus on basketball. I'm going to let my team, I trust that my team is going to be able to give me the right sound advice to make the best business decision. I think that's what he did. And that's smart to a certain extent. But now Ace Bailey, you have to grow up and really understand who has your best interest at heart. And at the end of the day, who are people that you got to surround yourself by, not just people that, you trust. Ladies and gentlemen, you got to surround yourself with people that are competent. Just because somebody is cool with you, they know the family, that doesn't mean that they understand how to do this job, which is being an agent for a professional basketball player, let alone a guy as talented as Ace Bailey. His family kind of failed him in that regard, but, God is great. And Ace Bailey is actually going to a great situation with the Utah Jazz. He's going to go to a situation with a really good coaching staff. He's going to a situation with a really good mind and basketball operation in Danny Ainge. He's going to a situation where the team, it's very low key market, which is what his family and his team wanted him to avoid. But I think it would help him because he is undergoing a lot of backlash from the media, social media, as well as fans. So him going to Utah to kind of be hidden away, he could just focus on his craft, focus on his game, understand how to play a game of basketball. Because what I've seen from the first two Summer League games, I don't really watch these guys in college until we get to the draft. I'm not a big college guy. So what I saw with the pre-draft, I was like, okay, it's not anything I haven't already seen. But I like to watch the Summer League because it gives me an idea of what these guys' ceilings could potentially be. If somebody is bad in the Summer League, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be a bad player, even though it is a question mark. If somebody is good, really good, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be an all-time great. But it does show me what this person could do in a 5v5 setting on a professional level. And in the first game, I saw what I thought I was going to see, which was Ace Bailey with all of this damn pressure, just have a bad game. But it wasn't a shitter. We've seen worse. We've seen niggas like, Alex Sarr. Like we've seen bad basketball in the Summer League. Ace Bailey was bad, but he wasn't atrocious. In the second game, we really saw it picked up. He improved his efficiency tremendously. He went from having a true shooting percentage in the first game of 29% to 60%. So he showed that he was able to kind of calm his demeanor, and was like, okay, let me just play my game. Let me just do what I can do. I feel like we saw a lot of good things. We also, and I want to get your take on this, Buffy. We also saw a lot of good things defensively in the first game. I really saw a lot of versatility defensively. He's listed at 6'7". I was talking, Jay was like, this dude looked like he about 6'9", 6'10".
Yeah, I was gonna get into that. His measurements. There's no way that's. There's no way.
Hey, I'm starting to believe that stuff that like Gilbert Arenas and the folks be saying that NBA players, they be lying about the list, the height that they come in at, and how they say folks is 6'7", when they come in the draft, but they be growing after that.
Yeah, I know for a fact he's going to grow because he's only 18.
Yeah, he's 18, so he's definitely going to be about 6'10", 6'11".
Yeah, like they actually incorrectly measured him. Like he was always 6'9", 6'10" to me. Like I never got the whole
the combine hold him.
I've never seen 6'7" with him.
Yeah, but I actually do agree with you, man. I think it's kind of crazy to see, and I'm saying crazy in kind of a normal. Like we see guys like Victor Wembanyama who have crazy size build, but for him to have great size, great length, also having the skills that he has, like as a scoring, like as an offensive playmaker, it is kind of crazy, and I do think that's the best thing about him. And his defense actually was really good in the first. One thing I wanted to know was that his rebounding was crazy. It was like his rebounding was his best attribute in the first two games from what I've seen. Yeah, but I want you to finish your point though. But yeah, the guy's not 6'7". Hopefully they change that, and don't put Bro on 2K being 6'7" because now he's gonna be getting the shot pack. Because he's gonna be taking a lot of contested shots on 2K, like he's gonna be getting that shit blocked. So they need to change that.
No, I definitely agree. So Jay also mentioned something about player comps. I don't really want to get into that because I actually want to be a little bit more realistic, just on what I've seen. I think that we had some combos earlier where Buffy and I were kind of going back and forth about 3 and D wings. But what I will say is I think he can be a very versatile defender, and I think that he can score. And if he can just improve on that, because really, what as a guy with his dimensions, he pretty much has the best dimensions to play in this game today, where he's tall enough, he's long enough to pretty much guard any position. Basically, can guard legitimately 2 through 4, maybe 5, because at this point there aren't a lot of bigs out there. So he has the potential to be one of those caliber defenders in our association. And offensively, I mean, he has skills that can be improved upon. And I think that now where all of these guys are either just trying to shoot threes all day, there's not a lot of in between game. We need guys, we need wings. Wings are highly valuable offensively, which is basically in a postseason setting, when everything fails, can this person give me a bucket? And I think that we do need that. That is a highly touted commodity. That's why guys like Kevin Durant are still continue to get people continue to want that piece. Now, Kevin Durant is a unicorn in itself of being the most efficient scorer in NBA history, but you don't have to be Kevin Durant to be an effective player. Because look at what we're seeing from Cooper Flag offensively, aside from the just incorporating the playmaking element of it. Being a playmaking wing that can get a bucket, in my opinion, is like a well-rounded offensive player, and that's a highly touted prospect, in my opinion. So I think that he showcased that in the second game. I think that what the coaching staff will do is that they'll try to utilize him more as a playmaker, because as Buffy was telling us offline, the shots are gonna come. He gonna get them shots up, especially in Utah. Don't got to worry about that. But value is gonna come from making guys better and improving your playmaking. And playmaking is not just getting a bunch of assists, but just creating for guys. So, incorporating your downhill game. You know what I'm saying? Being able to read defenses really well. So when you start scoring, because he's going to have ups and downs throughout this rookie season. Rookies don't really tend to have a lot of impact because they're trying to figure the game out. But I would like to see his offensive IQ improve upon, where if he starts to get into a flow scoring and guys are starting to throw those double teams at him, being able to read and react off those double teams, create opportunities for other guys. That's really what I'm going to be paying attention to, because in my opinion, what I've seen, I don't think he'll have a problem putting up points, because with him being on Utah, they're going to run the offense through him for the most part. So he's going to get up a good amount of shots, but his growth is really going to come from his playmaking, in my opinion. That's how he really becomes a well-rounded player. And I think that that's what guys should really just focus on being. Focus on really honing in and developing your skills to become a great basketball player, not a superstar. Because I think that that's where Ace Bailey's team fucked up at, is they were viewing him as, the superstar, which he may end up being that. I don't know. But no, he just needs to focus on being a great basketball player. That's what we're missing in this game. In my opinion, these effective guys, look at a guy like Mikal Bridges. Look at what he did. He was on a situation with Phoenix where he was essentially just a plug-and-play player, and then he went to Brooklyn and put up crazy work. So in my opinion, that shows me a really good to great basketball player being that versatile, as well as being a really good defender. In my opinion, I think that guys like Ace Bailey should kind of look at situations like that. How can I be the most versatile basketball player I can be as well-rounded as possible, so I can be on any situation and have a positive impact? That's going to be how you get your money, guys, because a lot of these organizations, especially teams in the Western Conference, they're trying to win championships. So with this second apron coming into effect, all of the trying to find a superstar and putting up a bunch of superstars on the roster, that's not really what guys are going to be looking for. They're going to be looking for guys that can complete the team. So that's really just my kind of takeaway. I'm kind of viewing things differently now, especially coming off the last draft. We kind of bombed on our predictions with that draft. So I'm kind of evaluating and assessing things differently. I think that Ace Bailey has the potential to be a really, really good basketball player, especially with the development that he's going to have with these guys like, the Danny Ainges and the coaching staff, Hardys, like these guys. I feel like they're going to really help develop his game at a pretty good rate.
Yeah, I want to kind of go over this with Ace Bailey, because I thought it was very, very prevalent in his second game in the summer league. Man, these guys are selfish, and I understand, trying
to go get them shots up, boy.
Man, it's kind of it looks like he's getting frozen out to me in some of these plays. Like they're not passing the ball, he's standing in the corner, and a guy who's like a 68 overall on 2K at best, I'm highballing. But at best, he's over here doing, high pick and roll, trying to run actions. Like Ace Bailey's on the roster, bro. You're just gonna put him in the corner.
But don't you think that guys are doing that because Ace Bailey, he's gonna be on that roster. These other guys are probably not.
No. I understand it. Like I understand it. Like Ace Bailey, guaranteed spot on the roster. These guys, they pretty much have to fight for it. But it's like, God dang, man, swing the rock. Like, swing the rock, especially if you're not shooting well. Like, just swing the rock, bro. You're gonna have to take that little ego hit. But nevertheless, Ace Bailey, I won't really overreact because it has been a couple games. The summer league. Lonzo Ball won Summer League MVP on the greatest Summer League team ever. Go rewatch those 2017 Lakers, man. They were special. They were special, man. I actually just rewatched the video. Wow, man. They were generational. Like, they had Alex Caruso, Lonzo Ball, Zubac.
And Bron got rid of them all.
Yeah, Brandon Ingram played one game. Brandon Ingram played one game. They had Josh Hart, the guy on the Bucks. What's that guy's name? Kuzma. Right? Yeah, that was back when they were saying Kuzma was on the same level as Jason Tatum. So, wow, that's crazy. But, man, they were some real demons. But going back to Ace Bailey, I have my concerns with Ace Bailey. I think he has some flaws, but I do think they can kind of be negated with the fact that he's on a team like this. Like, he's not on a contender team. I think it's perfect for him because he was not ready mentally to be on a contender team. Like, in a situation where you're potentially getting drafted to 76ers or the Dallas Mavericks. I don't think both of those teams winning championships soon. But still, the point is, like, they're in a win perspective, and I think Ace Bailey, definitely he has to prove himself. With his agent looks like a guy, was watching Bronx. Just talking shit about basketball, like one of those guys. Like, you're in the community playing basketball, like the guy thinks he can guard you. Hey man, you can't really dribble like that. Hey man, you can't really shoot like that. So when I was hearing a lot of the news coming out, seriously, because there's literally a video of the guy taking a video of himself, and it was like this guy don't know basketball. Like maybe he knows basketball, but he don't know like finances or anything. So I really gotta blame bro, because Ace Bailey's like 18, younger than me and me and Jay on the pod, by the way. So he's 18, so like, he didn't even know better for him. So I really can't take bro seriously. Ace Bailey, I watched some pre-draft footage on him. I think at Rucker, and he didn't really move me that much. I liked his scoring repertoire, which I think is definitely his best attribute. He can score from any level, literally a 3-level score. But he has some questions with me. Like, I think that's where I can kind of see comparisons to Tracy McGrady, if you want to go there. Now he has to prove himself to really get on those levels, but I can see that mindset. He has a 2000 style game, and somebody needs to tell him, unless you're shooting the mid range at a high clip, we don't need you taking mid range. Like. You don't need to take mid-range. Extend them long twos out the threes. Just attack the rim.
You need to go listen to what KD said on Mind the Game. You got a lot of guys that thinking that they mid-range assassins, and they not. They should just be behind the three.
Yeah, like just be behind the 3-point line. Really the mid-range, and this is an important component that I had to come to grips with because I like seeing players shoot the mid-range, but really the mid-range is for the star players and in the postseason. That's really who it's for. Like, nobody else shoots mid-ranges, because you can easily just shoot an open 3 because of the gravity these star players have. So if Ace Bailey is really good at shooting the mid range, have at it. But please extend those out to threes, man. We're in analytical basketball, man. Like the Phoenix Suns played 20 years, and they changed basketball. Like, we're in a different style. This is not the late 90s. This is not the early 2000s. Switch your style up. But he has some pros. I do think, with his skill repertoire and the size and length that he had that I mentioned, I think that's another important aspect of him. He has the potential to be a great defender because of his physical tools. If you're 6'9", mobile, you pretty much guard anybody in the NBA. Like, you can pretty much get switched on to 1 through 4 and hold your own. Maybe guard 5s if the 5s are playing out on the perimeter, setting ball screen, DHOs. But he has to a lot of what makes a great defender is effort. So to me, I don't think he's that player to be like, hey, postseason coming around, man. We got to stop seeing. I don't think he's that guy. I think a part of that has to do with maturity. He has to mature over a span of 2 or 3 years. If he's not, a gooner, I do think he can get to that level. Mindset in his head. So I think the sky's the limit for bro. I think he's going to be one of the best players in this draft class, strictly off potential and talent. Talents off the roots. He was literally like a second overall pick before like all the other shit started happening. I had him going 2. A lot of people had him going 2. Bare minimum, we had him going 3. Like we had Dylan Harper going over him. So you know, everybody knows how talented the brother is. He just has to put it on paper, and I think he can do that in a situation like Utah. Utah, there's not much out there. As Maui alluded to, great coaching staff, great front office. So they're putting him in places to succeed. He just actually putting the work, and I think he can do that. I think he's a really solid basketball player and great talent. So that's one thing. But I do also want to mention VJ Edgecombe, bro. I ain't like he snatched bro chain in that first game. I gotta admit this because VJ Edgecombe was my favorite player coming to the draft. No, like even over Cooper Flag. I think Cooper Flag is. I don't want to be disrespectful, but he's like a Jason Tatum ripoff and like a Scotty Barnes mixture. So he's he's an all around guy. The jump shot doesn't move me at all. I think he needs to work on that. Because defenders is gonna sag off on him, and guys like VJ Edgecombe, give me a lot of Anthony Edwards, Dwayne Wade flashback. Oh, like and what that guy has going for him, come to the league, he's gonna be a great defender. Like you can kind of book that in. He's gonna be a great defender coming to the league. Like it just has to be like whether he can score, and he's already being placed on a good team, depending on if Joel Embiid wants to play or not, or if he's healthy. So he's gonna be on a good team. So that's another thing. Also, like Philly, they have too many guards. Like god dang, dude. Like they have like 3 or 4 good guards. They got Maxey, Edgecombe. Then they got the boy they drafted last year, the nail paint dude. What's his name again?
Yeah, Jared McCain.
Yeah, Jared McCain. And then they got that dude that they got from New York, the Knicks.
Yeah, Quentin Grimes.
Quentin Grimes. Yeah. So they have a lot of guards. Maybe want to find some more forwards because, I mean,
Paul George.
that's what I would do. But yeah, they have a lot of guards in the team. I think that was kind of important to like note. So. Yeah, I'm excited to you, Jay, but shout out to Ace Bailey, man. One thing for me, bro. Please get a new manager / like agent, because bro was kind of holding you back. I ain't gonna lie. So
Facts, man. I definitely agree. Picking up off of what Buffy said about Ace Bailey's agent. Looking through this whole pre-draft thing, a lot of fans were talking about, oh, this kid's all in his head. But if you really look at it and you kind of do like the research, and you also listen in on what the NBA is said about Omar Cooper, it definitely looks like Ace Bailey just had the wrong people in his ears. We saw a lot of people seen that video of Omar Cooper, flossing, the rings on, the chain, and a Rolls Royce. And then, to add on to that, he's from the Bronx. So you could definitely see that he probably gonna be a little sly with when it comes to bread. So yeah, I do think that kind of hurted Ace Bailey, but at the same time, he'll be fine playing in Utah. I definitely believe he has the green light there. But kind of picking up off of what Buffy said as well, I do think Philly could have still, decided to keep him, but probably most likely, him not showing up to that workout definitely rubbed them the wrong way. Even though Daryl Morey said that they already had their eyes on, VJ Edgecombe, but they are pretty guard heavy, so that was a little interesting. But yeah, like I said, Ace Bailey, he's in a really good situation with Utah. They're not really in a win now situation. They're far from it. So he's got that green light. And then on top of that, Utah, they just packed up Jordan Clarkson. Who else? They packed up Colin Sexton. And they're still apparently looking to move. Laurie Markkinen and Walker Kessler. So I don't know how that's gonna go. But they also still have, a lot of younger guys. The only bad thing about it is that they really didn't get anything in return. So that doesn't really, help build the future. But at the same time, I think this will probably be Ace Bailey's team. It's honestly kind of clear. Like, there's nobody else that you really talk about in Utah. So the only thing he can go from here is up. You watch the summer league. Yeah, he had the bad first game, then he picked up the next game. But yeah, you really can't go off of summer league at all. Like Buffy said, Lonzo Ball was hooping, won MVP. But yeah, dude, unfortunately, due to injuries, Lonzo Ball's career didn't amount to anything that a lot of people had it being. You also look at Anthony Bennett. Like, Anthony Bennett was actually hooping in summer league, but going to the regular season, you would have thought, what the world was I watching? A couple months before that. So, the summer league really doesn't move you anywhere. Like, it doesn't show what it doesn't really show what's going to be set in stone for these guys when they actually go into the regular season and play. So you got to take that with a grain of salt, but at the same time, watching him, I do think he can score. From he's a really good 3-level scorer. The way he was grabbing those boards, hey, he was definitely getting down there. But yeah, like, this dude definitely does not look 6'7" at all. He definitely looks like he's about 6'10" at best, and he's 18, so he's probably going to be growing some more. So yeah, his potential, it's pretty high. It's a pretty high ceiling. So I definitely do think he'll probably be one of the best talents at the draft, and you can definitely understand why, you know, he speaks highly of himself because he's young, he's got a lot of potential, and you can see why he says he thinks he's a top 3 player in the draft. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people thought that, before all the whole pre-draft stuff was going on. So I think he'll be fine. Only thing now you can really say is he's got to build up his reputation. Because a lot of people think he's just some cocky young 18-year-old kid. But if you really look at it, he's just got the wrong people in his ears. So hopefully that situation gets better. I don't really know if it will, but hopefully that will. But yeah, I'm definitely excited to look forward to seeing him play in the rest of the summer league, and then going into the regular season. I might actually tune into some Utah Jazz games. I can't believe I'm kind of saying that, but I might actually, consider doing it. So yeah, Ace Bailey, he'll definitely be on my watch. He might, who's to say, he might end up being a better player than Cooper Flag, because Cooper Flag is kind of like a glue guy. As Buffy was saying, he's kind of just, he reminds you of a Scotty Barnes, so he's kind of doing everything out there. And he's not necessarily, you can't really necessarily say he's like just exceptional at one thing, and he's kind of just doing all, moving the ball around, getting boards. He can shoot the ball sometimes. So, it'll definitely be interesting to, watch the rest of these guys in the draft. I'm definitely interested to see, Dylan Harper. I haven't watched him play yet. And, Thursday, we got Cooper Flag versus Bronny James, and we got Cooper Flag starting at the one spot. Jason Kidd is definitely hilarious for doing that, but yeah, man, Summer League, hey, they got them boys on watch. I actually saw a report that's like the most expensive, Summer League game ever. And I think the tickets are like as low as like 25 or 3,500 or something like that. So yeah, man, it looks like Summer League is something to tune into, man.
Bro, what? No, that's
Yes,
crazy.
bro.
I do want to say this though before the video goes. Like, Cooper flags me, and like I don't want to come off as a, because the brother could definitely be like really good player.
Oh boy.
He's like, if you ever play NBA Live 18 or 19, if you play like the the career mode, I think they called it the one back in the day. Yeah, yeah. They called it the one. If you played the one and you went into like the build mater and you made like a 6'9", and then they had like the small forward builds, and they had one build called hybrid, and it was like you were solid and everything, but you were never good. Even if you maxed out the player, you were never good at. That's what Cooper Flag kind of reminds me of. So I wanted to say that because
it's given Family Dollar Jason Tatum basically.
That's why I said Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes is my second comp from. Yeah, that's not a bad comp. Scotty Barnes is a good player, even though his footwork is terrible, like it's atrocious. But geez, he needs to get that work done. His footwork and his jump shot and his handle. Oh my goodness, But yeah. turn it up.